Now, Plato is a very curious writer. You have to be so careful when you read him. You have to carry along so much with you. You have to carry levels of meaning with you in order to see and appreciate what he's saying. So let's do it. We can do it quickly. I think we can do it. What are we going to try to do? I'll put it in here. We have that curious problem that when the soul is pregnant, right? When the soul is pregnant, there must be something that must then be brought to birth, and it must be nurtured, right? It must be nurtured and brought up. Now, what is that excellence which must be nurtured and brought up, brought to birth? What is he talking about, this excellence? What is it? What kind of curious thing is this? What kind of excellence is he talking? Of course, he's talking about human excellence, of course, but what kind of excellence? Because with that success, you become a friend of the gods and immortal, if any man ever can be said to be so. Well, watch what he says. And I really enjoy sharing this with you because it's such a magnificent idea, kind of the crowning, one of the crowning passages in Plato. He describes the relationship between Diotima describes the relationship between a teacher and student. Now, she is the teacher and he is the student. And now, in this paragraph, she's going to review. She's going to give a kind of summary view of where all of this goes, and she's going to talk about that very point. It's all going to be done in one sentence, and you have to stay with it to see it. So, let me read it. Now, before we do that, just one thought. We can have fun with this if we see there's something similar in our culture. Here are the works of Homer, Hesiod. Now, these two great authors, of course, are the founders of different spiritual systems within the Homeric world, or within the Greek world. So these are sacred scriptures. Right, they're reflected upon, they're looked upon, they're venerated, they're sought as examples to reflect upon, and they serve that purpose in Greek culture. Just like in our culture, not too many people read Homer, but today they read things like the Bible, the Tao Te Ching, right, the Gita, the Quran. So while I go through this and he talks about this, your mind goes to both levels. Okay. I'll just back up just one sentence. The trouble with his sentences at this point is that they're quite involved. But being pregnant, then, see, the student is pregnant. Being pregnant, then, we're picking up the language we had before. Being pregnant, then, he welcomes bodies which are beautiful rather than ugly. If he finds a soul beautiful, generous, well-bred, he gladly welcomes the two, body and soul, together. And for a human being like that, he has plenty of talks about excellence and what the good man ought to be into practice, and he tries to educate him. Now, here we go with our one sentence. It's about 8 lines. For by attaching himself to a person of beauty, I think, and keeping company with him, he begets and procreates what he has long been pregnant with. He begets and procreates, to generate it out. And present and absent, he remembers him, and with him fosters what is begotten. See, fostering, nurturing, development, right? Language is there. So that as a result, these people maintain a much closer communion together and a firmer friendship than parents of children, because they have shared between them children more beautiful and more immortal. Here we are now. And everyone would be content to have such children born to him rather than human children. He would look to Homer and Hesiod and the other good poets and wish to rival them, who leave behind such offspring behind them, which give their parents the same immortal fame and memory as they themselves have. So, wait a minute, let's go back. What's born? There's some kind of a child born, isn't it? Right? That's the language he's using. There's a child. Right? There's some kind of a child. Some kind of a child. There it is, some kind of a child. Everyone would be content to have such children born to him rather than human children. Right? Why, he would look to Homer and Hesiod and wish to rival them. Now, if someone wants to, if two teams, if there's a rivalry, well, what kind of relationship is being described with that term? Is this saying that the child of their relationship, of course this person's already pregnant, right? He's already pregnant. This person, his Diotima, is the midwife, is the philosophical midwife. The child, then, of that relationship, the child, right, that child, I shouldn't say of their relationship because I mean in that other sense of relationship, the relationship with the midwife assists the pregnant party to give to birth. So there it is, a beautiful picture of the pregnant soul. In that, therefore, this is the child. And therefore, this person, Socrates in this case, considering the child, would then nurture it and bring it up because he thinks he can do what? Wish to rival them means you're going to do what if you're going to rival them? Pardon?
It's a competition.
Going to be in competition with them and hopefully beat them down, beat them up, or go beyond? Mm-hmm. No. Really? Well, that means then, when this work was written by Plato, he could see that this whole process we're talking about is going to bring into existence a child of their relationship that's going to rival Homer and Hesiod. It's going to rival the sacred scriptures of that age. And he could see it, that's what he said. Now, what is that experience? What is that experience? That when you proceed in this way through what we now call philosophy, which is an understanding of how all of this goes on, you move from ignorance, you get the right answers, you now know the reasons for the right answers, and now you want to confirm it in your own experience. That's this, and that's this. See? That's that. Suddenly, you will behold a beauty marvelous in its nature, Socrates, beyond that which you have ever seen. Right? We need to take a look at that. What is that, and how does that then relate to our last category called the dialectic? Right? All right, ready? This is all background for this part. Now, I don't want to use that yet. Or this. Yeah, okay.